Forever Dog.
Welcome to Forever Dog. You can listen to this podcast ad-free on Forever Dog Plus by signing up at foreverdogpodcasts.com/plus. And make sure to follow us on social at Forever Dog Team and check out all of our podcasts at foreverdogpodcasts.com. Thank you for your support and enjoy the show.
Forever Dog.
So the reality is we skipped next Friday, right? We didn't review that on the podcast.
Have we skipped the
I
next
thought
Friday?
we did. I feel like I asked if we did it.
We've done next Friday.
I don't remember now. That's sort of like how we did Sister Act 2 before we did Sister Act.
Did we really?
I don't quite remember.
Well,
I
of
think-
course, because we grew up with Sister Act 2. I mean, we
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I think Naomi was on and was like, I want to do Sister Act 2. And we hadn't done Sister Act 2.
Come on, Joyful. Look,
I feel like that's how it went. But I don't remember. I don't remember.
I
so.
don't think we did next Friday. I'm almost positive.
No
we did
way.
Friday.
All right, well, let's quickly talk about next Friday right now in the cold
Listen,
open.
I'm waiting for, what is it? Last Friday.
What do you mean?
They were trying to make that last movie for like years, decades now.
I recently tweeted that they got to do Friday the 13th, and it's just like a
horror version?
It's like a horror version.
That's fire.
Where it's
Friday the 13th. That's so smart.
apparently, Jason is owned by. They have the same. It's either they're both New Line or they have the same parent company. So they could, they don't got to even do much work to make that happen. they can just put Jason in. He's just in the hood going around.
That is funny. It's like, it'd be like Leprechaun in the Hood, which is actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Like Leprechaun, then he got too hood after that. He had like gold teeth and shit. I was like, okay.
We reviewed Leprechaun in the Hood, didn't we?
I don't think we've ever done Leprechaun in the Hood.
Wait,
Well,
are you
is the
serious?
lead of Leprechaun in the Hood not
Well,
the
yeah, I'm about to say,
Leprechaun?
hold on. No, the
Wait,
lead.
Yeah.
Or like
Wow.
a white girl who trips and ends up in the hood. I don't remember that movie. It's been so long
No,
since
I
I've seen
feel
it.
like black people are...
Ice-T is the lead of Leprechaun.
Yeah, okay, all right, cool. We
Did
gotta
we?
do that. We gotta do that next Halloween. We probably haven't done it yet.
What the
Black
heck?
man can't. Nope, we haven't done it.
That's
What have we been
crazy.
doing?
We've
Sincerely,
done
what have
Halloween
we been
for
doing?
6 years and we haven't done Leprechaun in the Hood?
And every
That's
year
so
we go,
crazy.
what movie are we gonna? This year we did 12 horror movies
Yeah, we
this year for Halloween. we
We
still
sure
haven't
did.
done.
We
Wow.
sure
Oh my gosh.
did.
Also, I'm watching the trailer for Leprechaun in the Hood, and you know what the freeze frame is for the trailer? Is Leprechaun smoking a J. That's how we know this is a different Leprechaun, baby.
That is so... We
He
just
different.
keep kicking that can down the road. Like, we'll do it next Friday. It's like, no, we'll do it Friday after next. When we talk
was
about whether or not we'll do
That
it.
was just rude.
That
That was rude. I get it, but I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
It's like, let's
I mean,
record it this Friday. It's like, no,
he-
let's record it next Friday. It's like, no, let's record it Friday after next.
Here's my thing. You're technically saying the names of both sequels.
Ooh.
So are we going to talk about both movies right
Yeah, I'm confused, Ray. Are we
I'll
talking
talk
next
about both
Friday or
movies
Friday
right
after
now.
next?
I feel like that's what you.
Well, I'm
feels like
wondering
that's
when we're
what
going to
you setting
record
up.
Leprechaun in the Hood. Is it going to be next Friday or is it going to be Friday after next?
Yeah, so James, I think we're talking about next Friday. That's what this
All right,
episode
cool.
is.
I
Next
actually think
Friday.
we should do Friday
And then after that, we
after
can.
next Friday.
The thing is, I don't know where you are in James' boxes, but I feel like he's staring at you the same way I was staring at you. So now,
All right, let's start the show.
Jonathan Raylock. James the Third. Drum Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can't jump.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Well, have you ever heard of the Nutcracker? Okay, wait, one more. Let me just check my Palm Pilot. Looks like I ain't doing shit.
He checks his hand.
I worked at a movie theater when this movie came out, and I have had that line in my head for you. I was doing a theater walk, and I heard him say that line, and I've been laughing at that line for years, and I didn't see this movie until like 2 years ago. It was the first time I saw it.
It's funny because there's always these moments when you look at a Friday movie and like there's always one character that stands out. So remember, like, we are not in jail, and it's just like him just squirming on the ground. He's so. I think this is the first time I saw Terry Crews. I think.
Terry
was like-
Crews was in Mad. Hold on, let's see.
he was
At
doing
the
a lot
this
of
time.
bit. He was doing a lot of bit parts.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't even say a line in Terminator Salvation. They pan over and he's dead.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh, I didn't even know he was in
mean,
that.
He,
I know he was in
he
that.
was doing stuff by then.
Yeah.
He had,
That's
Everybody
why.
Hates
That's
Chris
what's
was-
weird about.
yeah.
That's why it's. Yeah, that's why it's weird that he doesn't speak in Terminator Salvation, because by then you like knew who he was. But let me see.
Because he wasn't he a football player or something? No, you know what it was? It was
Mhm.
Training Day. He was in Training Day, and he
Yes.
like barely had anything.
Yes, he was. Yeah, but he was like one of the.
This
the
was his
goons in
fourth
that.
movie. He did The Sixth Day. He was in Training Day, but like a cameo, like not even a cameo, because just nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then Serving Sarah, which is a movie
What is that? Let me click on that.
okay.
Oh, I don't
Matthew
know. Sixth
Perry,
Day, he had a
Elizabeth
name.
Hurley. I mean,
Vincent.
Reggie Hudlin directed this. Reggie, you directed that?
wait a minute.
Wow,
I
Reggie.
saw Serving Sarah, and I don't remember anything. All I remember is him like throwing a letter into somebody's like door, because like it made like somebody who serves papers that job seem like the most dangerous, crazy job where everybody runs and you have to like. I was just like, this can't be how it works.
It's so funny because I was listening to the Will Smith book, and he talks about like what happens when you get served papers and how like no matter, even if you expect it, you don't want it, because it is when they approach you about it, because they always try to trick you.
Right.
And it's like, I think someone got him on set on Valentine's Day or some shit like that, and he was like, God damn it, it's Valentine's
Right.
Day.
Yeah, that's what that movie was about, that apparently Terry Crews was in.
Oh wow.
Um,
Wow.
All
I remember
right.
him. He was, yeah.
oh, what?
Well, yeah. I remember seeing this in theaters. I think I worked at a theater too. And I would sneak my boys in. Haha, you can't say shit because it's too late. I used to sneak my boys in to see it. And we would just watch this movie on like repeat. Like this and Signs, I think, came out at the same time, which is random.
Yeah.
But those are the two movies.
Couldn't be more different.
I know. Oh,
Well,
man.
For those
I
of
do
you
like
who are
this.
listening for the first time, this voice that sounds like the opposite of
constipated.
a pimp, you know, like just an upstanding citizen, one who treats women with respect and
snitch.
care, you know,
Yeah, that's a snitch. That sounds like a
the
snitch.
non-toxic. That voice is Jonathan
Right.
Braylock.
Gerard trolling Brick.
Like a,
Gerard just trolling Bray during his whole
like a snitch. Wait,
I was trying to think
treats
of the
women with
opposite of a
respect?
pimp, you know?
Yeah, that's a snitch. He ain't a pimp? Yeah, that's a
Oh,
snitch.
that's not what I meant. That's not it. Oh man. Listen, this voice is Gerard Milligan.
And this voice, listen, it would probably get annoying like a full hour and a half of my
We expected
impression
you
of
to
Cat
do
Williams.
this. We know what's happening. We know what's coming. Like I think we've all been prepped.
I feel like his actual speaking voice, when he's just talking, you're like, oh, you can listen to it. My impression is in the like, it's in the register of like
In the next
performance.
movie, we get his
Yeah.
actual speaking voice. In this movie,
Yeah, we get
do
just
not.
like
And I
his
don't like
speaking
it.
voice.
I don't like it. I was like-
And it's higher than in this. It's higher than his like comedian persona. He's like way up. He's like, oh, I'm a pimp. It's like, what is?
It sounds very much
I
like
feel like
Boondocks.
it hurts me looking at him.
Pimp
do that,
down.
You know?
Pimp down is like
pimp 3211.
back. Say it with me now.
yeah. Oh, that's right. He does.
It's
play a
not
pimp named
Slickback.
Yeah,
It's a
Pimp named
pimp
Slickback.
named Slickback. You say the whole thing. Say it with me now.
That shit. Oh man, I'm sorry. Cat Williams is good, man. That makes me think about when he was on Atlanta and he was like, and he has the gator, and at the end of the episode, he just takes off running down the street. But what makes me laugh about it is that is a person running as fast as they can. It's not an actor run. My man is running in a robe and flip-flops as fast as Wait, he won an award for that too, didn't he?
Well, I think he got
He
nominated.
did. He got an
He got
Emmy
nominated.
He got
or
nominated.
I don't
something?
think he won the award.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't win. Are we sure?
I mean,
I think
thought
he
he
did, I'm pretty
won.
sure. Anyway, so this film. Sorry, we didn't even say what we were doing. This is a.
I didn't introduce
This is-
myself, but I'm
Okay,
James
that's
the
James.
Third.
This
I didn't
is
say
a-
my
That
name.
whole introduction wasn't you introducing
film
yourself, James?
review podcast. We review the films of leading black actors. We talk about them in the context of race and diversity in Hollywood. All right, so that's what we do.
Bray, he won 2018. He won an
He
Emmy.
really did win.
Yeah, I felt like I remembered him.
He won Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series. He
Oh,
won.
I forgot he was from
Wow.
Cincinnati,
Well,
Ohio.
there was a
Stand
whole.
up.
Wasn't there a whole story where Donald Glover was like,
Yeah, Donald Glover.
I want you to do this, and he was like, I don't know. He's like, I'm gonna. If you do this, like, I'll get you an Emmy.
Yeah, I mean,
There
listen,
you go.
Donald, that's power. Wow.
So anyway, this film, Friday After Next, is the third in the trilogy. That's the film we're reviewing today. If you couldn't tell, it came out in 2002. Of course, stars Ice Cube and Mike Epps, as well as returning from. I guess a lot of people returning from the second movie, right? Wait, was John Witherspoon
Yeah,
in
like
the
this,
first
like
one?
that.
he was in all
he's
of
in the
them.
first.
yeah.
Yeah, he's in the first.
Him and what's her name? Who plays the mom?
Anna Marie Horsford.
Yes, Anna Marie Horsford.
Anna
Or
Maria.
Maria.
Oh, sorry,
Anna Maria
Maria.
Horsford. Yeah, she was in all of them too.
We had the new
She
additions in
didn't, say,
this.
she didn't do nothing in this.
Yeah.
Nah, because they don't even really address her. It's crazy. We'll get to it, but
And this film, it made $33 million at the box office. It cost apparently $10 million to make. It came out. It's a Christmas film technically. The poster has a little ornament on it.
Right.
It says "Christmas in the Hood." What else to say about this movie? Oh yeah, it didn't do too well on Rotten Tomatoes. Has a 26%.
How much
Haters.
does Next Friday have? Because I feel like
so
I'm
next
gonna
Friday,
keep
it's so
talking.
funny. Next Friday, I just looked it up, James. It's made like 58 million. So next Friday is the highest grossing. Friday made like
Right.
27. So
Right,
this is like, so it's technically this didn't do bad, you know?
right.
Next Friday's Rotten Tomato score is 21%.
Okay, which is lower than what you
It's
just
lower
said,
than
right?
26. Yes.
There's nothing
You
in
said
me that
26, okay.
believes a person who reviewed Friday for Rotten Tomatoes when either one of these movies came out was black. I like something in me is like the people who are like watching Next Friday who are like can vote or whatever on Rotten Tomatoes probably had no clue
Friday has a 78%,
what like a quarter water or anything was.
which is interesting.
Yeah. And I know a lot of, not a lot of people, but I know people who have said to me that they think that Next Friday is funnier than Friday. And I just have to get this out because I was of the school of like Next Friday not being nearly as good as the first Friday. I just did. I don't, it's hard because I was not judging it from a comedy standpoint. I was more judging it from like I feel like Friday has heart, you know, and like
Right.
the story is
I mean,
more
Friday
interesting.
also has
and,
Chris
and
Tucker. And no offense, I
Chris
like Mike
Tucker,
Epps,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I do think Chris Tucker is funnier in movies generally.
I'm thinking about a specific conversation I had with somebody who said the opposite, who said like, no, but Mike Epps, much better addition to the
Interesting.
franchise. And like,
Is it?
yeah, and it's
It's a
am
different
not gonna compare
dynamic.
them. I think they're just
Yeah.
different. Exactly, they
It
feel
feels like-
different to me.
It's so interesting because I felt like I loved, but also I'm older, so like I remember, you know, Friday. I remember seeing that in theaters versus when I saw Next Friday. I was a little bit older, so I knew Chris Tucker by that point, who was huge. But also, I do think Mike Epps fits into the Friday world better. Like he feels of at least maybe because, clearly Chris has changed since, but like Mike still feels like he's at those cookouts. I don't know. Like, he
Right.
just feels like he fits the thing.
Chris Smokey felt like a character. Like, this dude
Yes.
is crazy. Like, you're like, okay, like this.
Yeah.
Whereas Day Day, you're like, oh, that's a dude from down the
Right,
street or whatever. Who,
100%.
Yeah.
he just feels like
The
that.
thing-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think how old you were when you saw these movies really kind of influences your opinion. I don't know why I thought of this, but when you said a lot of people think that Next Friday is funnier, it made me think about how I think a lot of people think like Austin Powers 2 is funnier than the first Austin Powers, but it's
Yeah.
like,
It is.
well, there you go. But it's like, I do
But you're right. That's the one I remember the
right.
most. Yeah.
But I just feel like, anyway, it's just interesting. This is not the first or the second, though. This is the third one.
Right.
Listen, are we doing initial thoughts?
Yeah. Why don't? Well, yeah. Like the basic plot of this is, yeah, they have to get their Craig and Day Day. They get robbed by a Santa, a guy in a Santa suit, and he takes their rent money, and so they're trying to get that rent money for the day, and it's just survive another Friday in the Hood. There you go.
Surviving that. All right, actually.
Yeah. That is it. Yep.
Honestly,
Did anybody see this when it came out? Because I would be interested in hearing those initial
No.
thoughts.
yeah, so that's what I'm interested. Like, I remember working at the theater, having this come out and not liking it. Like, I remember being like, it's fine, but not liking it. But over the years, it has become one of my favorites, and I can't tell if it's because of the Christmas aspect of it. Like, it was my third favorite out of the franchise, and now
Yeah.
it may be my second because nothing can compete to Friday. But I actually really enjoy it because, thinking back to the laughs, I really like Mike Epps' Day Day because he should be cool. He looks cool, but nothing about, like, people literally run over him. I do think this movie's like probably mad offensive. I liked Holy Moly Donut Shop. I liked Pip Down. Like, I liked everything happening with Terry Crews, and I'm just not sure. I'm not sure in today's gaze, like, any of that was okay, but I just really found it funny. And I watched Next Friday every Christmas. Like, we watched it last Christmas, Friday after next. Man, it's weird. It's short. I'm here for it, man. Top flight security, Craig, of the motherfucking world.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see it when it came out and wasn't a huge fan. I owned Next Friday on DVD, but wasn't a huge fan of it. And I think when Friday After Next came out, I didn't think I was gonna like it. When I first saw it, which was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I did like it. Like, and I don't remember if any of what's standing out to me right now are the things that are the things that are offensive about it, or that they just throw me. They don't offend me, but it was like, oh, I don't know if we should be doing this humor right now. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, like this, they came up with a story for it, to be around Christmas, and like, and they managed to figure out how to keep it going. I think my general issue with Next Friday and Friday After Next is the fact that, like, the stories don't have the same heart or meaning to it as the first one, even though it just feels like the first one they were trying to make a good movie, and the later ones they were trying to make a good movie in general, and then the later ones they were trying to make
sequels.
Just like a hard comedy, like the hardest comedy they can make, each one, So like with this one, some of the jokes it just feels like it's like a lot of homophobia. It feels like a lot of like these things that like it just feels like they're cheap jokes,
Yeah.
But like, I think the performances are good. Like everyone's so funny. Like all of those guys are funny, are funny dudes, I wanted more from the mom, because she was such a fun part in the first couple. And then what else? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's I guess that's it. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say besides like.
Do you like it, or did I think I missed it?
I'm coming fresh off of it, right? Literally just finishing it, and like the things that I just don't think that we need to make some of these jokes, you know, and it feels like and some of the jokes feel cheap. So like I don't like that, you know. I don't, you know, it's sort of still in general has the same feeling for me as I compare to like Next Friday, but in terms of like in just talking about it as like for what it is, like, yeah, like Cat Williams is being funny, Ice Cube is being, you know, everyone's doing their job, you know, like everyone's doing their job, and I think they're doing it well. It's just like it was hard to watch it from today's lens. Is my response.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie before, so of course I didn't like it. But because I just saw it now, you know. No, I mean, of course, honestly, right? It's 2021, and this film is from the early 2000s, and I've never saw it.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, here's the thing, and I mean, it is funny because this happens from time to time, and also people get mad at us for like looking at it through today's lens, even though that's kind of part of the podcast. It's about re-examining films and what we watched as, you know, young people, and like, and where the mindset of America was at the time. But like, you know, this is that very of the time Black comedy where the jokes are, and I will say, like, their white comedies were like this too. They just, you know, they had this similar like homophobic jokes, rape jokes, fat jokes. You know, it's like the main jokes are like making fun of people essentially, and that's just what the comedy was at the time. It's harder to laugh at it now, and then it's even harder when there's like barely a story, and they're kind of, and it's a sequel, so it feels like they're playing things up again, you know, for the sequelness of it. You know, and it's like it's so interesting. Like I was watching this and I was like John Witherspoon, who is so hilarious and funny, is like doing the most John Witherspoon-y acting. You know, like he's playing it up to the, you know, like the most, and I'm like watching it. I'm just like, this is like, just like, this is so crazy how we like, this is how certain comedians like at a point, like, this is who you become. You just like, you're known for a shtick, and then people are just like, just do that shtick. Like, don't try to be a real person. Just like do your shtick and play it to the 10th degree or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, there are some fun parts in it. I do like, you know, as much as it was shticky, he's still funny. Cat Williams is funny. You know, I mean, Ice Cube isn't necessarily funny, but like he plays well off of other people.
He's a good straight man, but he's, you know, he's a good straight man to Day Day and stuff.
Yeah, and Mike Epps like does like a pretty good job. I think his character like doesn't make sense. Like we can talk about it, but like there are certain points in the movie like his POV feels like it changes. You know what I mean? Like based on whatever the scene is that they want at the time. And then yeah, I mean, like, there's essentially 3 women in this movie. The mom, who, like we said, like barely does anything. Then there's like the love interest, who I feel like in every single scene they were like, okay, and just be the most seductive you possibly can while you say lines that have nothing to do with it. Just like really kind of give them sexy, I want to have sex with you eyes every time you speak. And then, you know, and then we have Cookie, who's like, I think gets to have the most fun, you know, of all the characters, but they're also like constantly making fun of her appearance. So, you know, it's a tough watch in 2021.
Yeah,
man, I'm gonna say what's so bad about it is that everything you're saying is so true. And again, like, I'm like, these jokes don't fly, but for some reason, man, I don't know what's happening with me personally, but it's like, dog, I was still laughing. Like I don't. You know what it was? It was one of those things where like, I do know, and I do believe like jokes have to change. We have to evolve. But something about it felt so old in a way where it felt like I don't know, man. It felt like being back home and like people cracking on everybody. Like
Exactly.
It didn't matter who you were, what you look like. It's like no one actually gave a fuck. It was like hey, nigga, where your eyebrows at? Like, oh, you need to. It was just like
Right.
It didn't matter. Like there were people who had like this kid we had named Yuck Mouth because he needed braces, but he refused to get the braces, and I had braces. So I was like,
Yuck
so I used to
Mouth.
go at Yuck Mouth like, nigga, I've had these braces for 6 years. I don't want these. And like it just.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It felt like I hate to use the word, but it felt like, and I guess I've been accused of this now in this woke, quote unquote woke era of like being softer or like just like overanalyzing stuff. But for some reason, watching this movie, it just felt like, yo, they don't give a fuck if you think this shit is like offensive. It's like these are the jokes around the way people are laughing at. So you gonna laugh? Like it felt like it was made for who it was made for. And I'm just not saying it's okay. It was just, you're right. Like my mind reverted back to, I guess, early 2000s instead of where it is now. And normally I do critique everything we review when it's old. It's like, man, how the hell could we have a black sister in this junk doing this? But I don't know, man. I don't know.
But I think I think there's a lot to be said for that, though. Like, I mean, I think that's very real. I think that's exactly how they would defend this movie if they were if someone, you know, put them, you know, under the mic and they were like, you know, defend Friday After Next, they would say like, yeah, like it's just they would say exactly what you just said. You know, it's just jokes. We would get on anybody, you know, and it's indiscriminate. Like if I'm going in on this person, they're gonna go in on me. Like everybody's gonna get something, you know, and I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what then the next part of that is. Like I don't know if there's a right or wrong to be attributed to that, but I think that's exactly why you know, I think it's why it's okay that you were like, yeah, I watch this every year and I love it and it's funny and it's like, you know, that's just a part of a culture that you came up around and, you know, and you still sort of relish that, you know, like everybody, we're like, I mean, who knows about the potential psychological damage that Yuck Mouth might have, right? But it's like, you know what I mean?
Listen, for the record, Yuck. Okay, we all had terrible names. Like my nickname was Schmeagle. Okay, to let you know, Schmeagle
Why Schmeagle?
is the little alien. Because I was like,
we all know who Schmeagle.
At one point when I got to high school, I was super skinny.
we know who. You don't have to explain.
I'm letting
who
everybody know
Schmeagle
because they're
is.
like, who the hell is Schmeagle?
No,
He was scrawny. He had no hair. He had big eyes.
knows
We know who he is.
That was my nickname. Okay. Everybody used to get it. That's what I was like.
Women and in this movie, everybody. There's not a single person that doesn't get like a dig of everyone gets
It's true.
At the height of my high school career, okay, girls in my school called me Schmeegs, okay? That is letting you know, when you supposed to be like getting girls to like you, that was where I was.
Schmeegs.
Schmeegs.
At least they shortened it. You know, you weren't just Schmeagle, you were Schmeegs now. It's like, oh, that's the dude. That's
Yo.
Schmeegs, you know?
I don't think I've said that out loud since high school. That's crazy. But yeah. But
We
I
never
think you're
let
right,
that
Brady.
go, Gerard. We never let that go.
I
Never
mean-
letting Schmeegs go, bruh.
It was Schmeegs. It was Schmeegs, man. Oh my God. And that was the cool version of it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But no, bro, you're right. Like when I think about Damon, like Terry Crews' character, that character is so utterly offensive. Like at one point, he is just, when they show him, you know, my son Damon just got out of jail. He gonna come up here and whoop your ass. And then like when you see him, they open the door, he's so big and he's so greasy. And he's like touching all over himself. It's just, it's so offensive.
Well, I mean,
but for some
Day
reason,
says, this is what I didn't like. Day says, you proud that your son's and then he says the F word. And I was like, oh.
yo, it's so
this
crazy.
is okay.
Because I blacked that word out. That's, oh my God. That's, that's so insane.
It was like, oh.
The
no.
other thing is, man, I'm telling you, there
Wow.
was something about especially the 90s and the early 2000s, where like male rape was in so many movies.
Yeah, sure.
And I remember one of the we never filmed this. We never did anything with it. But one of the first sketches I ever wrote was called "Male Rape Is Not Funny," and it was commenting on the fact that it's not, but then also being like, I guess it kind of is
doing all the jokes.
Yeah, right. But like
doing all the jokes while condemning it.
But like it's just this weird thing where in so many comedies they would have this thing of like, you're gonna get raped. I mean, so much so that they created what's it called? Hard Not, or what's the
you talking about, what do you mean, like Scared Straight?
No, I'm talking about Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, Get Hard.
Which is like the whole movie is basically about, you know what I mean? It's like one big.
He's trying not to get assaulted in that movie.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Tough.
But that's the whole.
Yeah.
But that's where the comedy always comes from. Is like, this dude's gonna rape you, and it's like, ha ha ha. Like, anyway,
in the improv, when they were like, he's gonna do something strange to you, and they just keep repeating, do something strange to you. It was just like,
yeah,
but no,
I know it's so it's a strange thing. Anyway,
well,
but this,
I feel like no one can, but I think on a deeper level, Bray, like I think that's so deep because like I think outside that, I think that kind of stuff when it happens to dudes, like no one cares. Like even thinking back to like Coming to America, no one cared. Like the whole genesis of that movie was Eddie got assaulted and had a kid.
100%. I mean, it is. I mean,
it wasn't a thing.
The comedy is coming from the fact, not to defend these jokes, but like it is coming from the fact that it is so rarely talked about in society. And I guess maybe this should be trigger warnings for this, but like, you know, sexual assault does happen to men as well as women, but like but people don't look at. But people don't really want to hear it from men, especially, you know. I mean, and then the other thing is the prison thing of it all, you know. I mean, there's also homophobia linked to it, but it's just like it's I don't know. It's just so interesting that so many comedic writers at that time were like, man, this is it's like a staple joke in so many films. You know what I mean? And yeah, we have a whole character that's dedicated to this in Terry Crews, which is like the play off of Debo. I mean, that's the other thing that's weird about it is that like we just have a new character, but then they just added this thing to it, you know, Damon.
Yeah. It's almost like a funnier it's supposed to be like the funny
villain
version of Debo, I guess. You know? I mean, I will say when he's like, the thing that sucks is that it is so offensive, but when you see Terry Crews like popping and locking and like breathing all hard, I'm like, what? You know what it is? It's sometimes something so bad you just laugh. It's like, what is this?
I mean,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's a great defense mechanism.
Then like the woman, his mom kept trying to hit on Day Day the whole time.
Right, and that's the other thing.
And,
she assaulted her father. It's just like a family of assaulters.
The whole time. It's like, oh
like
my
they're both
goodness.
assaulters.
Yeah, she's trying to hit on his dad.
Yeah.
Good God.
Anyway, so this movie starts. I was gonna say the other thing about the comedy aspect of all this stuff is like it's not just the fact that the jokes are like quote like, you know, offensive. It's also like that they're stale, right? Like they're jokes we've been hearing for so long, and then once you like know the chemistry of it, and you know the chemistry of it not even just by being comedian, just by watching a lot of these movies, that's the other part that is like, all right, yeah, we're getting another, you know what I mean? That's the, but it can't, but when they get creative with it, it could sometimes could still be funny.
What's up, folks? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals?
I mean,
look, I don't know about you, James, but this week has been a week, brother.
Yeah, it's definitely been a week. It's still the same thing. It's still heavy social anxiety for me. Still very heavy social anxiety.
You know what? And it's social anxiety for you, and I think it's like the getting older for me, where it's like, yo, I'm not supposed to like get older. Like my back hurt in a way a couple days ago where it put me in a spell where I was like, yo, I think I have to watch how I move. And that set me in a hole. I was looking outside my window, looking at people like play, people coming from the gym, like, look at y'all with your young bodies and spring in your step.
Listen, I understand. Well, BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours.
Ooh, that's good. I mean, it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional therapy done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. Visit BetterHelp.com/jump. That's better, HELP, and join the over 2 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
Yes, and our special offer for Black Men Can't Jump listeners gets you 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/jump. Better help yourself today.
Ever wish for fuller lips? With Juvederm lip fillers, a licensed specialist can help you get the customized look you've been wanting. Juvederm Volbella XC or Juvederm Ultra XC can give your lips that boost of volume you've been wanting. Find a licensed specialist and see if it's right for you at Juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Add fullness to lips in adults over 21 with Juvederm Volbella XC or Juvederm Ultra XC. Do not use if you have severe allergies or a history of severe allergic reactions, or if you're allergic to lidocaine or the proteins used in Juvederm. Tell your doctor if you have a history of scarring or taking medicines that decrease the body's immune response or that can prolong bleeding. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. As with all fillers, there's a rare risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. For full important safety information, visit Juvederm.com.
This movie starts with the Black Santa jumping a gate.
Yes.
Who is this? Ricky Smiley? Is that who that is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ricky Smiley is in it.
Yes, that's him. He's Santa Claus.
Yes.
I mean,
this was. I loved this opening. Just Day asleep while Santa is. Where the milk and cookies and all that.
And Craig getting his ass.
Well, it's just
and
fun.
he's like, I know you ain't sleep. Day.
You know what it is?
Ice Cube genuinely asks for help. Like, it sounds like he needs real help, and Day does not get up.
I think the reason again, the movies it does have problems. But I think the reason I like what they evolved Craig into, which people probably hate, but I like the fact that they aren't tough. Like they should be. Like everything about Craig should be tough. Like Craig knocked out Debo, but when they talk about it in retrospect, it was like luck.
Well, he
you know
fights.
What I mean?
He fights.
He needed
Santa,
that brick.
and he gets a couple punches in and stuff, and then he just gets the drop. He just, the Santa takes a Christmas tree and beats him with it.
I just love hearing him. I just love hearing him beg for help because it's like this is the dude who walked in to a record label with a bat and like smashed the whole place up and just walked out. You know what I mean? Like it's just something about how it felt like having a dude who is that black, masculine, still be masculine, but also like now funny and like getting his ass whooped, but still like trying to get it done. I don't know. I feel like you rarely see shit like that. Even now, I feel like you rarely see outside of Kevin Hart, who wants to be tough, the person who should be but not. So that's why I like that.
Right. It was fun to see this fight happen. I don't know what kind of dog this dog is that doesn't wake up when a full-on fight with like tables being broken and a tree getting and this dog is still sleeping. I was like, this is the most useless dog in the world.
Both the dog and Day stayed in bed.
I was, man. And then we get the cops.
Yeah, it was funny when he was like talking. He was like, "Oh, you should have seen. Like, I was hitting this guy. Like, he's talking to the cops. Like, he was sleeping the whole time. He's just lying to the cops." And then these cops are also terrible, but that's played for the fun of it, and they just want some weed.
Yeah, they take the weed stuff. Oh man. And then that's when we see the landlord come in, blame him for everything as
she's
usual.
got a little bit of hair on her, it's shaped up, and they keep talking about it.
Look, man. Yeah, they like they kept going at her mustache. Look, man, this movie is very juvenile. Look, it's juvenile.
It is
okay?
juvenile.
It was
It's
juvenile.
very juvenile.
But it's
because
that
there's
was supposed to be- I don't
there's
know.
no real setups. You know what I mean? Like the setups are you got to pay this rent, or my son who's back home is gonna come rape you.
My thing is, where
I
is
know.
DJ Pooh at? Because DJ Pooh and Ice Cube wrote that first movie, and I'm just saying,
only Ice
was
Cube.
DJ
wrote it.
Pooh
by
the
Ice Cube
reason?
by itself.
Ice Cube by himself.
Who did this? He did it by himself. Yeah, he did this by himself.
Which I will
yeah,
say,
and
when
I
I
think he
saw
also
that, I
wrote
was like,
Next Friday by himself.
Oh, did he?
I think he wrote
maybe
Next
more.
Friday by himself too, though. I think.
Let me
there you
see.
go.
He did.
Yeah, it's just like, was DJ Pooh out here being like, listen, we gotta. I don't know. I can't put it all on DJ Pooh. I'm just saying it was different before, and I don't know what was different about
One
it.
of the last things DJ Pooh has written was in 2010. T-Pain had a special that aired on Cartoon Network called Freaknik the Musical. I've never seen this, but trust and believe, I have to go find Freaknik the Musical.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we had,
directed
like,
this?
it's so interesting because I just come on, Bray, why are you doing that?
Oh, sorry.
His name
Why are you doing that?
is Marcus Raboy.
Okay. Steve Carr
Let's see, what did he
directed
done
Next
before this?
Friday. So they didn't even have the same director. They had 3 different directors.
Damn.
Wait a second.
This is the dude that did the Fresh Prince documentary.
Wait.
So,
Is
among
it?
among a million other things, mad music videos.
It's funny because there's so many music videos. I couldn't tell if this was like one of those what's it called? Pseudonyms for like a fake director.
Marcus
Do you know, like
Raboy.
some of the like? Yeah, I
That's
thought it
not
was
too many. But that's not too many music videos.
Oh, I just
Is
looked.
it?
I just looked and saw his filmography, and it was like 1991 through like now, and it
Goodness.
didn't have anything listed. It just had the years, and I was like, "Is this a real person?"
There's so many
yes, he
TV
is a real
specials.
person.
This guy's directed so much, but very few movies. What movies has he directed other than this one?
He's also very white.
Yes, he's very.
Oh, is he?
yeah, he's white.
That happens a lot. Sometimes you look at stuff and you're like, "Oh, interesting." I thought the team
My man
behind this
did
was-
Real Love. I love that video. Shit is
He's
fire.
white, and I think the guy who
That's
directed
true.
Next Friday is also white. That's another thing.
All right,
you don't
cool.
think about that. Because F. Gary Gray did
Nope.
Friday.
Mhm.
Damn, I didn't know the other guy was
Steve
white.
Carr.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm just assuming he's white based off his name. Yep, he is.
Yep, he is.
Just assuming.
I mean,
he's white
Steve Carr.
based
I
off
mean, like,
his name.
come on. It's very few black guys named
Well-
Steve Carr.
Well, after we get the intro, no, I don't think we don't even see Damon yet. We just hear about him, I think. And then that's when the next day is when they go get their jobs as security guards, top flight security
Yes.
of the world.
They actually say that they're going to start their jobs today and they're going to have the rent money tonight, which I don't understand how that works at all. But that's what they're going to do.
Well, they were going to ask for an advance.
Oh, like a
Yes.
check, a check
Yeah,
advance.
like
Okay.
pay us for the week, but now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a job that started on Christmas Eve.
I know.
I was like, this job, you guys are starting on Christmas Eve?
Well, in La La Land, Ryan Gosling got fired on Christmas Eve,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Happy holidays,"
It's rough.
In Gremlins, they're in school on Christmas,
Well, that
What?
doesn't make any sense.
or on
That
Christmas
also
Eve,
doesn't
something
make
like
any
that.
sense.
That's
Nope,
crazy.
makes no sense.
I mean, it's so funny because even think about this movie, it's like when they go to the guy who owns, I guess, the complex and is, holy moly, like that character is so offensive. Like it's so, oh my God, why are we reviewing this movie?
Yeah.
Stop
Wait,
this.
the
I can't
character
review it.
who who owns Holy Moly, because he's like
Holy Moly Donut Shop.
yeah, he's just like
Yeah.
he's like
And
he's not
that's
even.
Maz Jobrani.
I'm trying to understand what stereotype it is exactly. It's like Arabic or just like East, like Southeast Asian. Like I couldn't tell exactly who he was supposed to be, but you know, I mean, they didn't say. It's funny because they didn't say anything. I feel like they didn't say like racist things to him. It was just like
No,
him as a
it
character, you know.
Yes.
He was just doing a thing. But to be fair, that's everybody in this
The
movie.
movie,
I mean,
right?
there are blacks there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's like
Yeah.
they're all kind of
And see, I
playing freaking other than I guess Ice Cube.
But that's also part of what's hard about it too, because when you think about what the comedians do, not necessarily Maz, but what those same comedians do when they perform live, it's like, yeah, this is their shtick almost. You know, it's like, so, you know, and they have sort of made
Hey, buddy.
these personas famous. It's why we know them as comedians. So it's like, as much as I want to be like, I didn't like this, it's like, well, what? I don't know if I was going to expect something else, you know, from specifically this
I actually like
assortment of
this
people.
actor. I thought he did a good job.
I did too. Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
buddy. Like,
oh, it's gonna be good, buddy.
Yeah, he's great.
his
He's
hand motions. The donuts have flies all in the screen. I mean, but you're right, James. It's like in the context of the movie, everyone is playing their parts like this. Even when we finally get to Cat Williams when he appears. I mean, Cat Williams is a little pimp. Like he's
Full on
This is
Cartoon.
the most pimp.
He's literally
He is
a pimp
the
named
pimpiest
Slipback.
pimp.
He really he is,
yeah. I think
he
his
is a
outfit is straight
literal
up this-
cartoon in this film.
It's funny because I think they were like, "Hey man, he did that character too good," and they just wrote
I think so too.
him. They were
I
like-
think so too. I think
they're
they
like-
saw Friday After Next. They're like, well, like obviously, we got to get Cat
Wrote him.
Williams into a pimp.
it's and it's crazy because he has little moments that are funny, but I do think it does a little bit where, especially if you look at like Cat Williams in this movie, pimps are always seen as like the big, like, I'm about to smack somebody, like I gotta do this and that. But like Cat is a little dude who gets stuck by a mannequin at one point and goes like, you know, stuck between a pimp and a hard place. It's like it almost is poking fun at what we believe pimps to be. Like he's not tough in any way, but he wants to. I don't know. Maybe
I think his second or third line is like, and this is my lady, and he introduces the lady, and then Day starts talking
He's
to
like,
him
okay, that's
to her
enough.
a little too much, and he's like, okay, that's enough.
That was funny.
Slowly pulls her back.
I mean, he. I don't know, man. Those characters are so interesting. And then, yeah, Bray, like you're right when you talk about like his love interest. Like she is only there, just like the woman from the second one. At least Nia Long. Damn, Nia Long definitely had a purpose. Man, damn, you're right. The heart was gone after the first one. Damn.
Well, yeah, I
Y'all,
mean,
y'all ruining this franchise for me.
I mean, it's sequels. It's for the most sequels are like this, where they're just trying to cash in on the first one, but like there's nothing else. There's no new story to tell, so they're just telling the same story, and that story keeps getting watered down to its like base parts, and like it's also now it's like not even about the story. It's like James said, it's just a hard R comedy, and they're just making jokes, you know. And it's like we have to have a story because it's a movie, you know. So like it needs to be tied together, and so it's still loosely kind of certain similar things of like, okay, we need some money. There's a dude who's like got out of prison who we're trying to avoid. There are other people we're running from, and there's a girl that we like. You know what I mean? Like, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's like it's nothing. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, I still like it. It's just like one of those things where it's like, again, to me, it's one of those things where like, if I do have a hard time now where like I do believe like, again, jokes should be smarter, it should be more clever, but I do struggle when it's like, who can get it at this point? Like if if I'm taking shots at myself, other people, like, when is it okay to like start going on folks? Like, cause that's for me, that's what I was brought up doing. It was like, yo, you had to defend yourself if you were tall. Like, again, my nickname was Schmeagle and Schmeeks. Like, the other dude's name was Yuckmouth. We had another dude who was named Sticks. It's like, does it have to be like people in the community are making the joke? Like, for instance, if Terry Crews was queer, would his character have been okay? Because I've seen like, and if you watch the Sam J specials, like Sam J is queer and she says like reckless stuff, and people still come at her for saying it, even though she's a part of that. I'm just very curious of like, when is it okay to?
Well, one is I don't know that I can like make like I don't know if I'm the person to decide when it's okay, you know.
Let us all know.
But
He said you are. You should.
I am, and I should. That's why I have a microphone. But I do think it's sort of that thing of like, I think at the end of the day, it's more like listening when that criticism comes up, you know? So it's like, I was thrown by a lot of the humor in this, not necessarily thrown like, oh, I can't believe they're making this joke, but more like, oh, I wasn't expecting that right now. And, oh, I probably would have laughed at this before, but I don't find these things funny anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of like, it's like when the criticism arises, listening to it and like really, if you have a strong enough justification for the humor and you feel like your humor is not like it's just punching down or it's just for the sake of XYZ, then that is when it's okay, right? But if you sort of have this, I would hate for the justification for this movie to just be like, well, funny is funny. It's like, well, but I wasn't laughing. So then is that true? Is that still true? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
I mean, it's such a complicated issue. I will say in regards to this movie, the way that I feel about it is like a lot of humor is like shock humor. It's like, oh, this is so bad that you're laughing because you're uncomfortable, you know? And I think that there's times and places for that, but like when it's all you have, it feels cheap and it feels like lazy to me because anybody can do it. You know what I mean? Like anybody, it doesn't feel smart, and it also doesn't feel like it doesn't even feel intentional outside of just like filling like a Mad Lib of like crude R comedy of like we can make these certain jokes or whatever. And it becomes, like I said, to me, it becomes stale because I see it over and over again. Like by the time this movie came out, we've seen that joke that they're doing with Terry Crews. You've had to have seen it at least a dozen times in other comedies, if not more than that. You know what I mean? Like it's just so old that it feels like, and it's like I can still laugh at certain times because it's like it is uncomfortable. But then it's also like if it's like, but then I'm like, well, I don't know. You can still do it. It's just like if people don't like it, people don't like it. And I feel like most people wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of my thing is like, you know, we can have a larger conversation about like how much it actually hurts society by doing these jokes or like this or like how much, you know, quote unquote punching down like can hurt the people that you're punching down, like those marginalized groups and all that stuff. I think those are larger conversations, but just creatively to me, I'm just like, it's kind of boring. You know? That's how I feel about it. But I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Anyway, but this movie, look, it was definitely of its time. I think at the end of the day, like the people who liked it still liked it. And yet there's a reason it didn't do that great at the box office, you know, like it, or as good as the next Friday, or probably other films of its time. It's because like Yeah, it's not doing anything that new, and you're not really getting much outside of those jokes. You're kind of like, every now and then you get surprised by like something Cat Williams or Mike Epps says like in their improv, or but yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to think of like what are the parts where you guys laughed out loud? You know what I mean?
I laugh at the Terry Crews Cat Williams scene,
Like when he
every time.
like the whole scene, or like which part of it?
like at one point, it's the sound effects. It's like once he goes in the room, and it is bad, but like when Kevin goes, huh? And he like wakes up, like I like when my fish or something on my
Squirmy. I think he
yeah,
said.
squirming. He's like, and it's not funny. It's not funny because I get it. But when he's just like, his high pitch goes, I'm a boy. And he's like, clearly it's almost like he just doesn't
I'm a boy.
understand. It's like, it just like, he doesn't understand what's happening. And it's just like the back and forth and then him getting the nuts. And all of a sudden, like, that is just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. And it's seeing Terry Crews run down the street with the vice grip on his nuts. I'm like, it's so dumb, but it's such a visual. It's like, why is this happening? Like, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so what are you saying, James?
Well, yeah, I can't remember how that scene hit me the first time, but I couldn't. This time, I was like, oh, like when he was,
No, I get it.
when Cat Williams was on the wall screaming, like, "We're not in prison anymore," whatever it was that he said. I was just like, oh my God, I can't even believe this scene was shot. They was edited.
So I feel like the reason that there's inherent.
But I remember.
Okay, go ahead.
No, good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying that I just want to say one more time that because I was like, oh yeah, Friday After Next. Let's do Friday After Next. I really feel like when I first watched this, not 4 years ago, I was like, this movie was better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I really think that was my genuine reaction to seeing Friday After Next the first time. And that is not that long ago. So it's not even like, I don't know what state of mind I was in when I saw it, or maybe I erased some of this stuff. Maybe, right? Maybe it is because of that. But like, I could not watch it today. I was like,
the other thing about it, I think the other like inherent funny device within it is that when we first see Cat Williams' pimp character, he's very high and mighty. It's like his character believes he's very high status. He's treating this woman very poorly, right? So it's like, the comedy of it is to see this person with such high status all of a sudden find themselves in a place where they're like, uh-oh, I'm low status now. I'm scared. Like, I'm in danger, and I was the one putting people in danger, kind of. I mean, they play that throughout the whole thing with him, right? Like, he gets... he gets knocked over and there's a mannequin on him, but like he comes out with the nut, like he's still like he keeps playing with that. It's just the reality of the situation. It's like you have to divorce yourself from the reality of what the scene is actually about, because you're like, am I supposed to laugh at the fact that I think this man is about to get raped? Like, is that what's funny? And it's like, no, that's not funny, but like. But I don't know that the movie doesn't believe that that's funny.
But the movie might not even be.
I think the movie believes that it is funny. Like.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that also threw me too. I mean, I know you asked us to start talking about things that we laughed at, but this watch was very. It's also like it was like I'm tired. I didn't sleep much last night, and like got up early, watched the movie. Like this all it's all about my state of mind, right? Too. But another thing that I remember thinking when the trailer came out, it's so fun. This was in every trailer and every TV spot and every whatever. It's so funny. It makes you smack your mama, and then he smacks his mama. So he just slaps her across the face. Like that was in every trailer. Watching it this time, when they cut to the mom in real life outside of the trailer, and she's like twitching and stuff, I was like, oh no! Like I don't want to see this battered.
What got me was the slap was like, okay, this is a slap. It's literally slapstick comedy, and that was whatever. But then when we have another scene and she's like cooking and then she's flinching because
That's what I'm talking about.
okay, yeah.
That's what I'm
When
talking about.
she's flinching, I was like, well, that's not funny. I was like, that's not funny. I was like, this is sad. What? It's like you really slapped her and now she has PTSD and she's flinching like she thinks you're gonna keep hitting her. I'm like, that's horrible. And yeah, but then you laugh because it's like so bad. It's like it's so messed up. But that's when that's all it is. It just feels, I don't know. It's rough. I don't know.
No man,
Yeah,
the
it
movie's
was
tough.
hard.
It's-
But wait. But there were things that I thought. I mean, again, I generally thought Cat Williams was funny. I thought it was funny when what's his name? What's the Day-Day's dad's name? What's that?
DC, I think it's the
I'm gonna
real
pull it
actor's name.
Cut all this out.
But his
DC
Elroy.
Curry. Don
Elroy.
DC Curry. Uncle Elroy. There's like he had little bits of like, I hope the Santa come around here, and then they immediately
Jacked.
get like they immediately get jacked and
Yes.
he's doing nothing. Like stuff like that.
Do you think that was
It
a real gun?
Fun. No, right?
I don't
There's
think-
no
I don't
way.
think
That's
so.
why they wrapped it.
But
He
they
didn't have to-
never you never saw that it was fake, which was interesting to me. I thought it was. I thought
Right.
at a certain
Did the production just not have a gun?
I thought at a certain point we were going to see that it was fake or not real, but then we never did. And I was like, huh.
Oh, so you thought the Santa had a real one?
No, not that I didn't think he had a
I
real
don't
one because we never see it again. And if he did have a real one, when they jump him in the house, I feel like he would have went for it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
weird that we didn't
The
see it in the
callback-
scene that it was fake. Just felt like they were going to show that and they
Look-
didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good point.
Right. No, yeah, you're right. I completely, I was like, oh yeah, it's probably going to be a fake. It's probably a fake gun. They're going to show. I had the same thought. That's so weird that they don't go back to it.
Someone
I
forgot
thought
to
the
get that
Pinky
coverage.
callback was funny. Like when they Pinky hits the Santa and he fully rolls across the whole stretch limo like that.
Yo, Pinky is
That's they hang on that roll
I
for
know.
so long.
There-
It's like
I'll tell you a
ridiculously
part where I
long.
literally laughed out loud. It's when the guy. When they jump the Santa in his place, and then he escapes and he jumps to jump out the window, and he just gets the window doesn't break, and he just hits it and it falls down. That was so funny to me, and I was like. I think the biggest laugh I had in the whole movie because I fully expected him to break through that window and he didn't break through it. And I was like, that's hilarious.
oh man, shut that.
And that's a basic joke, but that was funny. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Man, I can't. I try to think of any like favorite moments, but
It was very
you know, I
cartoony.
feel like they all.
I mean, you know.
Oh,
'cause-
let me tell you my.
I thought
Go
I
ahead.
Let me tell you my
Oh,
favorite
right.
moment when I was a kid, and this is not a funny moment, and it's probably like a really sad moment. But I remember being in love and so jealous. To let you know my childhood of Sean on Boy Meets World, because later on in the later seasons, Sean started dating this beautiful black woman. And I was like, man, it's some bullshit. And at the end of this movie, she appears for no random reason. Is like one. I'm pretty sure that's her. As like one of like. Is she like a stripper or one of like Cat's
Well, what's his
women?
Pinky brings in a couple of strippers.
Oh, maybe Pinky. Maybe it's Pinky. Let me find it. I think that might be her. And I remember being like, I love this movie, but why is she doing this? And feeling really sad. But I could be wrong. You guys keep going. Sorry. Let me keep looking.
Yeah, Pinky brings
Yeah.
in Cinnamon,
Boys.
Moet,
Boys.
and Lollipop.
Those names are great.
wow. Cinnamon, Moet, and Lollipop.
I mean,
Moet.
Moet.
oh, it's Moet or Moet?
Moet.
That's like
Oh,
her
that's
name
so
is
smart.
Mo
Look at that.
Wet, but Mo,
Come on,
yeah,
man. That's
exactly.
genius. That's
Exactly.
genius.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
That's
I
genius.
thought Reggie
That's
Gaskins
genius.
was funny. The black cop, I thought he was funny. Like he, like all his like little
Oh,
bits
also
and
Chris.
things.
She was cinnamon. I know I wasn't crazy. Sorry.
Chris Williams was in this. He was in Silicon Valley, and also Curb Your Enthusiasm. You guys know Chris Williams, that light skinned dude.
Oh,
playing
gotcha,
freaking-
gotcha. Oh, yes. That's Vanessa Williams' brother, right?
Oh,
I think that's Vanessa Williams' brother.
I mean, sounds right to me.
Wow. I mean, guys, look.
Oh, this guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of things.
You know, listen, guys, I get it. Okay, I get it. Some movies don't stand the test of time. I get it.
But it's it's hard because like it's hard for me to put to be like, oh, I don't think you should like this,
I'm not saying,
especially if you're coming from that the place you were describing earlier, Drav. Like, yeah, like, you know, everybody gets it, and you know, it feels like, you know, just feels like back when everybody was roasting everybody. Like, yeah, like that. Like, cool.
That said,
Like-
I will say, you know, just based off what our podcast is, I will say this is though the type of movie that it felt like Hollywood was okay with black people making and wanted them to make. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, make these movies where there's a bunch of black stereotypes in it, and you know what I mean? And you guys are like, it's like that's the thing. Like there, and
It
it's
felt like modern day blaxploitation almost.
yeah, like, and there's a little bit every now and then, you know, again, no offense to this movie or people who like it, but every now and then I did feel a little bit like, is this a little bit of coonery? Like, just a little bit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was like, it feels like it a little. Like, every now and then I was like, oh, this doesn't feel great.
Just a little bit of coonery. Just a little bit.
You know, it's tough because it's like, I want people to be able to enjoy this and screw, you know, white supremacy for making us, first of all, have these stereotypes. And like, it's like all this stuff is like, it's still playing off of people's real lives, right? Like people's real experiences. I mean, it's heightened, crazy heightened versions of them, but it's like, this is that. And so there's nothing to be shameful about. And yet, when it's the only type of movie that like people were getting chances to do, then it kind of, it's like, did Terry Crews want this to be his first big role? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, you know, like it's what he had to do. You know what I mean? It's just like, I do think about that kind of stuff of like I think Chris Williams is like a pretty good act. Like, he feels like somebody who could do Shakespeare, you know, and in this movie he's like playing, you know, just like a person who's like kind of homeless and like trying to steal and like has one like a missing tooth and is like, you know, like doing a crazy accent. So like, I just look at that kind of stuff and I'm like, oh, that hurts a little.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But again, that's not to take away from the fun of this. I did think,
is it not?
I really did. I just had to say, because I was thinking about it when I was watching it. And like I said, there's no nostalgia for me with this movie. I didn't see it, you know. So I will say this movie's only an hour and 22 minutes, and that feels really great.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, look, I don't have too much to say. I think you're right. I think the scary part about this is that as Black people, there is a hard line between being silly and what we consider as coonery. And I think, you know, because we're always trying to, or not speaking of everybody, but we always want to try to put our best foot forward, since the world doesn't treat us like that. When we see moments like this, even if this movie was in the hood, even a little bit sillier, like I even think about how people truly talked about Chris Tucker's character. Like, people wasn't banging with Smokey like that. Like, not the super elites, not the ones who are like all this character does is smoke weed and try to get high. Like, I mean, Chris Tucker literally, while we're recording this previous week was doing an interview with someone, and he said he's one of the main reasons he stopped doing Smokey is because he didn't want to be the guy that got Black people high. Like, he didn't want to be that dude because he didn't want.
I remember that at the time. Like, I remember that he wasn't coming back at the time for that reason, and it was infuriating because the role was so funny and he did such a great job. Like, and I was just like,
but even the crazier part is like this black dude doesn't want to be kind of the face or promote, at least at the time, that black folk can get high. Whereas like you had Cheech and Chong, you had like, I mean, Seth Rogen and James Franco are like known
That's
to
real.
be weedheads, and like these other races can do it, but black folks we can't, because if we do it, that's the picture of the entire race. You know, like
Right.
black people are supposed to smoke weed and be in the hood, but like Obama is an outlier. You know, it's like that kind of stuff sucks to me because it's like, when do we get to really have fun? And I know, again, this thing had a lot of problems, but it's just like, how do we do it? Like, think about it. If you had a black person, I think Nori said this on Twitter. Like, he's always like, I just want to be like the black Will Ferrell, like a part of that crew. But like, I'm not sure we could have a black person specifically who could be that silly or that much of an imbecile in movies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure you could have like a Ricky Bobby and like have a black dude be Ricky Bobby, because until a quarter through that movie, Ricky Bobby is an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, he is a downright idiot, but we love it. Step Brothers. I don't know if we can do that. Like, I just don't know if we're allowed to be that incompetent because the world treats us so crappy on a regular basis that all we can be is extraordinary. And then even that has a downfall to it, because now you're just like the black person that doesn't do any wrong. But, you know, this movie tried to do something. So Hollywood, I don't know how to fix it. That's literally every project we write or pitch. It's like, how do we do that without offending people, but letting you know you can have a good time too? I don't know. Hollywood has burned me so much. I don't know how to fix it. Well, technically it's America, so I don't know. But
okay, so here's what I feel like. Here's what I feel like should have happened. Okay, I just feel like this would have been real dope, right? If like, so it's the scene when the gang of dudes that robbed the place or like did whatever they did to the last security guards are chasing after Craig and Day-Day, and then they push Cat Williams out the way, and he falls underneath the mannequin, and he's like, "Oh, I'm pimp in a hard place, pimp down 32." He's doing all that, right? While that's happening, but then like he can't get out, but we need him to get out, and then all of a sudden we just hear, "I got your back, I got your back, Money Mike."
Money Mike? Who's Money Mike?
Who's talking? What? I'm Money Mike. What you talking? He's like, who's talking to me? I can't see you. I'm stuck underneath a pimp. And then it's me, Steel. You got to turn around. Just turn your head to the. Okay, here I'm coming. And then he walks over to him, and then he lifts the pimp off of him. Okay. Then he helps him up. He like kind of dusts him off, and then he's like, "Do you want to play a game of basketball?" And then they play basketball together.
I was just waiting for this to hear if you were going to do like Shaq, then Cat, then Shaq, then Cat. I thought you were going to have a dialogue with yourself. That's what
I was going to maybe do a scene, but then I was like, I ain't going to try to do that. That's going to be too.
Together?
It's the end of the. Because then that would be like a cool little scene where it's like a crossover.
Well, thank
Friday
you, James.
after next.
James, we appreciate
and Steel.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's time for the cause. We rate and reviews not based on how much we like them, or they help the cause of more leading black actors in Hollywood. Feels like film fully helps the cause, we give it a black fist. Somewhat help the cause, we give it a white palm. If it doesn't help the cause at all, we don't give it anything. Count of three, we gotta raise our hand.
Shit.
Okay.
All right.
This sucks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
1,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3.
No!
Uh-oh! Look!
No!
Gerard, look! Do it!
No, I can't.
All right.
I can't.
You're giving it nothing. Wait, James, what did you give?
How are you? I gave it a palm.
And I gave it a fist.
Oh, sorry, you could. Yeah, gave it a palm.
How did this happen? How? Look, man.
Gerard, how did you give it nothing after everything you've been saying?
Because when I think about it, this movie was supposed to help. Like, I thought about whether I liked it, but did it help? To me, yes, Cat Williams is in there, Terry Crews is in here, but like, to me, Cat was already a stand-up that like people kind of knew. I guess the majority of people didn't, so I feel like Cat would have been fine either way. But it's hard because it does when Braylock is because what Braylock just said at the end, because this movie plays in the stereotypes in a way that I'm not sure. I'm not even sure like people around the way like would be okay with it. It felt like I'm not big on when the joke is on the people like. The stereotype, like if again, Cat Williams' character is pretty cool to me because like I do think they take that pimp and kind of like work it in a different way, but everything else it feels so kind of offensive that I don't know how to justify in 2021 that is okay, even though we learned who Cat Williams and Terry Crews is. I don't know. I'm so torn. How do you give it a fist, Bray? What?
Go ahead, Bray. And
I will say this: it doesn't really make any sense that I gave it a fist. Because even though I was gonna be like, well, Terry Crews and Cat Williams, but like both of them don't really get to lead movies. Even if we can argue that this film helped, but I guess I just feel like, you know, Mike Epps too, even though he was also in Next Friday. I don't know. It just feels like it has so many black people in it. Like, even though this movie wasn't great and it has all these stereotypes or whatever, I do feel like people thought of these Friday movies. I mean, for a black comedy about the hood to have 2 sequels, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Feels successful in a certain way. And it's like, and even though this movie didn't do great, it still didn't, like, it wasn't a complete bomb. So it's like, I don't know. I feels like maybe it helped out.
Yeah, I think it's inarguably a successful black franchise. You know, like the first one didn't make as much money as the second one, but it's very highly regarded. The second one made a ton of money comparatively. And the third one still made more money than its budget. And it's like, okay, great. Like this is a successful black franchise. I think, you know, more roles for these comedians who are all so good in their own solo right, you know, is great. And then the only reason I didn't give it a full fist is because of my issues with the way, I guess maybe what I feel like is being represented. It can be a little dicey when you pick it apart, which is what we just did. So yeah, like I don't know that it doesn't deserve a fist, but that's why I was in the middle.
All right. Well, hey,
I'm
there you go. No, I mean, I think this rating makes sense. Thank you all.
I tried to defend it. They had real answers.
Thank you all for listening.
This is tough.
And then Steele and Kat, you know, because Steele is so much taller than Kat.
Right.
Focus.
So then there's just like, there are all these
You can
bits
follow
about
us
how
at
their
Blackman Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. BlackmanPodcast.com is our website. We got links to merchandise like t-shirts and iPhone cases and pillows. I mean, stickers. Check it out.
Okay.
TeePublic. Also, we have a defunct Patreon. We don't do new episodes on it anymore. We probably never will. We never will. But you know, it's $5 to listen to the episodes that are on there. You can unsubscribe anytime you want. Also, if you rate and review us, give us 5 stars on iTunes. We'll read your review on the air. Kevy, awesome podcast. Oh wait, I think I read that one too, didn't I? 5 black stars.
Okay, where the stars at?
Wow.
Where the 5-star reviews?
Yeah, we need more.
We out here.
Give us more 5-star reviews. All right.
Please.
All right, y'all.
What we need to do? What you need from us?
Another holiday movie coming
Please?
up. Nah, I mean.
Yes. Next week we're going to review The Perfect Holiday.
Yes.
And you might be saying, didn't you review that? No, we reviewed The Last Holiday.
See,
not
there
The
it is.
Perfect Holiday.
See, there it is. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted.
This is terrible. This is terrible.
Gerard, don't get it twisted.
Hey,
oh
baby.
my goodness. The Last Holiday, the Best Man Holiday.
Yeah, we also reviewed The Best Man
Holidays.
Holiday. and the last holiday. And now we're reviewing the perfect holiday.
I'm gonna do
Almost Christmas. This Christmas.
Oh no!
Stop.
Medea's
All right.
Christmas.
See y'all later. See y'all later. Bye.
Last Christmas is that?
We
Black?
haven't done that one
Melissa,
yet. And
cut
we
him
gotta
off.
do it. All right. See you
Melissa,
next week.
cut him off.
Peace.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production, produced by Melissa D. Montz, executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. To listen to this podcast ad-free, sign up for Forever Dog Plus at foreverdogpodcast.com/plus. Check out video clips of our podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/foreverdogteam. And make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Forever Dog Team to keep up with all the latest Forever Dog news.